Live right now. Hey everyone, welcome to episode number 12 of Operation Rebound. Episode number 12 already, can you believe it? Thank you for being here with us today. I have my friend and also professional George with us. What's up, George?
Hey man, I'm just really enjoying how you went fishing today on your work day. So
I can't start off the show by throwing me under the bus, man.
Well, I tell you what, I was just envious is what I'm trying to say. I wish I was out there with you guys fishing.
Yeah, it was definitely a good time. And we knew we had this coming up and some other things happening in the afternoon. So we took off in the morning. And actually here in Lee County, where we went to the beach today, the beaches are open. So the parking lot was open for the first time in a month. And we were out there. We caught a nice big amberjack. I posted it up. Yeah, amberjack. Not really the best for eating. Some people eat them, but some people use them for bait. So we caught it and we let it go, catch and release.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
so it looks like you're spending some daddy-daughter time.
Oh yeah, the kids always. Family is one of the most important things, George. And prior to getting into the financial services, I was a vocational Christian ministry, and so one of the unfortunate parts of the job was being in the hospitals with people. Kind of the end of life, prayers or encouragement for the family, and never did one person ever ask me for their 401k statement or IRA statement. But they always ask me, where's my family?
Exactly.
So that made a profound impact on me moving forward. That family is very important. And also like wills, trusts, DNRs, like have that stuff ahead of time. But I'm getting myself off the tracks here, George. So I'm going to reel myself in.
It's okay. I was just
Yeah, we're here at episode number 12. George is coming from St. Augustine. Is that where you're chiming in from?
St. Augustine, Florida. Yes, I am in St. Augustine on the East Coast.
Nice. Yeah, get over to the real coast, though. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually always on the West Coast. Like I said, my son's supposed to graduate this weekend from Florida Gulf Coast University. He's part of Young Life out there, so he's been involved over there in Collier County and Lee County out there, helping out the high school students out there, and they're trying to find creative ways now to help out there. So we were planning on being out there this weekend actually to celebrate a big graduation. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to do a virtual graduation.
Well, let's hope everything full steam here real soon, and they do it with wisdom. But we're filming episode 12, and this is going to be the last show of Operation Rebound. Don't cry. Don't get upset, everyone watching. We are 50 years from Operation Rebound to the new name of the show is going to be called Rebounded or Rebound. That we already rebound from the COVID-19. And so we're kind of working through some details for the new name of the show. But instead of 3 days a week, it's going to be down to 1 day a week for about a half hour, 45 minutes. We're still going to be having professionals on here that are going to add value and kind of give you guys information, tools, and tips you can use to kind of help your situation, both COVID-19 and after. So let's just jump in, George. You are in the mortgage industry, but a very specific niche inside of that industry. Tell me about, I guess surmise, what do you do in that specific niche of that industry?
Well, the focus for me is clientele that are 62 and over. I really focus on trying to see about providing solutions with them with a product called a HECM, right? So what the HECM is a HECM? It's a home equity. You like that? So it's a home equity conversion mortgage, and that's all I do. I team up and I network with a lot of mortgage loan officers throughout the state of Florida that are not with my company. I work with everybody because they know that this is all I do. So a matter of fact, I listened to Josh the other day, the mortgage man over there. Yeah, no, it's good stuff. It's neat to get a chance to hear all the different experts throughout the state of Florida with the regular stuff, and then I focus on the reverse piece.
Gotcha. I just did a share party on my Facebook, and so it's an important role. Important role, and also teaming up together. And we're gonna be diving into some questions about what the heck's a HECM.
Uh-huh.
And then also like that 62 and older. So if you're not 62 or older, it doesn't mean don't watch this, because your parents or grandparents, this is vital information for them, especially more now than ever because of some changes in the industry and things of that nature. And I am gonna, if you guys want to ask questions during the show about reverse mortgage, how does it apply, different things like that, I do have my chat screen pulled up on the side of the monitor, so George can't see it, but I might just surprise him with a question or two. So get ready, George. So hey, let's dive in. You know, a little bit on the reverse mortgage. What's one thing you love about the industry, or about specifically in that reverse mortgage industry? What do you love about it the most?
Well, I mean, first of all, I love the end result, obviously helping out the clients. I teach many different strategies, right? I teach cash flow and some tax strategies regarding this particular product. A lot of people are not familiar with this. It's the education piece, but ultimately the end result is how did I help them preserve their cash flow in their retirement years? That's one of the reasons why I team up strictly with some of the top financial advisors in the Southeast, including yourself, Mr. Jeff. And together, figuring out these strategies and providing results for these clients is such a great satisfaction for me. So.
Right. No, that's good, man. That's good. Now, could you share with us maybe one story, a brief story about someone you've helped? Because we all have those that specific. What we do is meaningful, both sides, whether it's financial planning or on a reverse mortgage, which falls into that financial planning category. Is that one or two people that really touched you? You know, like really felt that connection. Like really helped them.
Well, it's funny you said that. When you said that, I immediately went to my latest, one of my text messages I got from a customer in Orange City, Florida. And she goes, "This is a late happy Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for you. The roof is going up today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. I'm waiting to see how much wood will have to be replaced. That affects the price. I get my bathroom shower replaced. There was a mildew under a tile. I was at home alone on Thanksgiving because of my lack of teeth." That's what she tells me. "But there have been some stressful days, but God is with me. And again, I'm thankful for you." So you can't help it, but when it touches your heart like that and make an impact for a client, like in her case, she was a single widow and just really trying to provide some results for her to help her out to get comfortable with her retirement. So.
Yeah, it really makes an impact when people randomly reach out to you and different things like that. And, you know, my phone was blowing up for a couple of reasons, but when the markets crashed, when this whole COVID-19 thing came out, there are, clients that are younger that are still in the markets and they experience, fluctuations, but there's my more experienced, say, senior clients, they're more into like guaranteed income.
Right.
So like, they're texting me, like calling me, "Jeff, how much money did I lose?" And I go, "You know how much money you lost?" They go, "0, right?" I go, "That's right." I always say, George, that people like us when we're making them money, but do you know when they really love us?
When you don't lose them any money.
When they're not losing. You're right on, man. It's a really nice feeling, to have. I want to dive into, what exactly is a reverse mortgage, because I mean, I had shared with you a little bit before jumping on, in years past, I wasn't a big fan of them, because when someone reverse mortgage came up, I was like, "Oh, that's terrible." Well, the fact is, I wasn't educated properly.
Yeah, and I think you and I think when we got a chance to first, talk about it as well, right? It happens all the time all over the Southeast and educating people. And basically, there's about 5 different things that people come up right away off the bat, right? So the first thing they go is, "George, I hear about this stuff, the reverse mortgage, but man, don't I lose title to the house? Doesn't the bank take my house?" That's like the first thing that pops into their mind because they hear these stories. And I'm like,
guilty.
Right? It's like, how did these stories come into play, right? But if you investigate, a lot of these stories happen in the past. One of the main reasons is because back in the old days, people would go ahead and they would give them a big chunk of equity of their property based on their age and the appraised value. And they didn't know how to properly manage their money. They blew all their money. Then they lived long. And then the loan with the interest superseded the value of the house. So they were upside down. And the family's not on the hook, which is the good thing. The government was the one that had to come up with the difference. So the government was like, hey, we got to tweak these percentages and we got to make some changes because people are living longer. So the one good news is the title, you don't lose title to the house. That's number one. I think the biggest other disconnect, Jeff, is an inheritance. I show other ways to leave legacy behind for the children, and it's not the house, because what happened was in the old days, people used to go ahead and do everything they can to pay off their mortgage, pass the house on to the kids. The kids would live in it. Today, the parents are living into their 80s and 90s. The kids are in their 50s and 60s. So when they ask their kids, do you want my house? Guess what the response is? No. Do they want the house? No. No. But you know what they'll take?
Cash.
Cash. They can care less. Right? So
yeah, I mean, it's funny because I'm going through my RICP, my Retirement Income Certified Professional designation from the American College. Big shout out to them. Any financial professionals watching, great designation. You know, especially if you're a vet, they have veteran scholarships. So make sure you check them out. There's my plug for you, American College. So there it is. But anyway, so the material is great because it's brought into my mind too. Is like, has anyone watching or knows someone that's tried, you know, when you pass away, you inherit a house and it has to go through probate. And then after the sale, after the realtor, after the new roof maybe, or water heater, or is it easier just to inherit an IRA?
Right. Well, I don't know with the Secure Act today, you know, with all the changes that took place recently, I don't know. The Secure Act is also causing some headaches on that as well. You know, obviously part of the planning that I do for the clients is the planning for after the fact. I really educate also the children that are left behind, because it's important to have a game plan before, during, and after, right? What do we do after the fact? How do we prepare the children to settle the estate? If I get them all on board, then they understand there's no questions and there's no doubt in their particular situation. I just did one this past weekend. A couple already did it. They pulled the trigger. They're like, this is in our best interest. We're going to do it. But when we're done, I want you to talk to our daughter. She's up in Colorado. So go ahead and reach out to her. So I did a Zoom meeting on a Saturday afternoon, explained it to her. She had the same thoughts like everybody else. When I got done, she's like, holy moly, it makes complete sense. So what you're saying is we're going to have more money in our portfolio from the parents. It's not going to be the house because we're making the money stretch longer. So we're going to inherit more there than we are the house. Is that accurate? And I said, bingo, you hit it right on the head.
Right.
So it's so important that everybody just gets educated in the process. And unfortunately, people just, again, it's hearsay and they just don't get educated on a particular part. So
right. No, I can understand that. And so it's all about taking the equity and turning it into cash flow.
Absolutely. Or, you know, it can just be a buffer asset, right? We want to go ahead and be able to use tax-free benefits, tax-free income, with many different strategies. So I have strategies for clients. When I work with a financial advisor, we'll sit down and we'll analyze people with a free and clear mortgage, people with a mortgage, right? So we have tax strategies with people that have a mortgage. We have other strategies that we can use with people free and clear. That's one of the reasons why when we do these different strategies, it's very important to understand their whole picture, right? So once we get the picture, we can come up with that game plan and we can show them. I have people come up to me all the time like, George, why is that millionaire that you're dealing with getting a reverse mortgage? Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's not one millionaire that likes to donate to the government. So I show them some creative ways along with the financial advisor. How do we preserve that cash from going to the government, but going back to the family, going back to the estate? So I have people that have millions of dollars that do a reverse mortgage because of the strategies we put into play. And then I also have people that have very little money. And then I have people in the middle of the road. But it doesn't matter. I will show different reasons of the strategies that come into play.
Now, is there ever like a one-size-fits-all like reverse mortgage strategy?
No, not really. You know, everything is different. I think it's case by case. I think there's only really 3 different ways to receive funds from a reverse mortgage. But as far as how we apply it is case by case, right? So we are not sure if they want to use a credit line as a standby credit line, which simply means maybe they can't afford long-term care because the policy is too expensive, or their health. They have diabetes and they have a heart condition. They just can't qualify for a long-term care policy because they know this is an area they want to take care of. Well, they can't. So guess what? We use the tax-free money from the home equity line as another way to source and fund long-term care. I just, I have a couple here in St. Augustine, Florida, that unfortunately both passed away already. This happens a lot. There's only 4 ways to pay for long-term care, right? If they have a policy, number 1. Number 2, they pay with their own assets. In St. Augustine, this couple got diagnosed with an actual ailment. They started spending down their assets. All of a sudden, the spouse got hit with brain cancer. So she didn't want to go to a nursing facility. She wanted to stay at home because she knew that in her mind, she felt like her days were probably limited at this point. So she went ahead and wanted to stay home. It was $16,000 a month for her 24-hour care.
Wow. Now,
it doesn't take long to start depleting the assets that are left behind when you do something like that, right? So right. This is still, it's part of the planning process. That's why I get excited about working with a financial advisor, because between the two of us, we can sit there and say, let's plug in all these holes. Let's figure out how do we make this more comfortable for you for down the road. So that way, if you're married, we try to help the person that's left behind. If you're single, we want to preserve your legacies to be left behind for your children. So, it's very important to understand the whole picture, though.
Now, you had mentioned there's 3 main ways to get money out of the house using the HECM, right? So yep. You touched on the one, like it's an open line of, I guess, credit for you. Now, what are the other 2 ways?
So let's assume you had a free and clear home. You can receive 3 different ways: funds. You can receive a lump sum. You can receive a credit line, or you can receive a monthly payment. Now, the monthly payment can be what they call a term payment or a tenure payment. A tenure means, by the way, it's spelled T-E-N-U-R-E. What they do is they calculate based on the younger of the 2, and they say, okay, based on your youngest borrower's age and the appraised value, we can give $750 tax-free for the rest of both of your lives. It doesn't matter how long you live. And that's just a set number.
So if I live to 120, it keeps paying.
It keeps paying. Doesn't matter.
You know what that sounds like to me?
What's that sound like, Jeff?
Sounds like an annuity to me.
Right. It's very similar to that, and it's tax-free. And, so we have many different strategies that we show on that particular piece, too, to fund different areas as well. But a term payment is where somebody knows their budget to the penny, right? And they go to me, they say, George, I know exactly, working with my financial advisor, I need exactly $1,200 a month, right? So I can figure it out. They say, well, George, how long does $1,200 a month, how long does it last for? And I'll say, well, it's only going to last you probably roughly about 10 years. They're like, perfect. So I needed that 10-year window. Then what happens is we can start tapping into the rest of the income, and then we can make it a gradual process.
So this might even be a good strategy sometimes to use. Let's say someone wants to defer their Social Security.
That's actually one of the biggest strategies we use, yes. Yeah, because what happens is, well, there's 2 different strategies there, right? We can defer, for example, people that have health insurance and they're waiting for their Medicare, they have a gap between 62, 65, right? So the premiums are pretty expensive. So another way to fund that gap on Medicare, waiting until they get to Medicare to get their coverage, is another way to fund those health insurance premiums for them so they don't take it away from their physical cash flow. Another way to do it is the deferral of the Social Security. It's an 8% increase each year by deferring it out. I have people that that's part of the strategy. So you hit on it, Jeff, where you said, if you're under 62, you don't want to not listen to the show, because if you're in your 59, 60, 61 bracket and you're ready to achieve 62 years of age and you want to make a decision to receive Social Security, well, we got to investigate it, right? Because we want to see, do we have a strategy there where if we can defer it and let it stretch out to full retirement age, where you can get the maximum benefit, but supplement your income like you took out Social Security by using these proceeds from the HECM, then and what's great about it is tax free. It does not even
tax free, George. How in the world can it be tax free? Whoa, good book, buddy.
Hey, where's David McKnight? We got to get David on this call over here.
here's the funny thing about it. I will be in my office tomorrow with David. Well, David won't be here. He's in Puerto Rico, but we're going to be doing a live show talking about his new book coming out. So yes. Excited. So those of you guys watching, make sure you tag, share. David McKnight is a national best-selling author, speaker, power of zero tax bracket, ninja guru. He will be here tomorrow live with us. So make sure you're watching, George. Hit the watch party too on your Facebook tomorrow.
I will. I mean, I think, like I said, I listened to his stuff. I've already, matter of fact, our boss Harlan, he already did a podcast with David. So we work with, like I said, we talk with David. We've been with Dr. Wade Pfau from the American College. We work with him as far as.
What did I call him by accident?
You call him Dr. Fufu.
His spelling is his spelling.
It's P-F-A-U, Pfau. So yeah, you actually called him poo poo, but
you freshened it up for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I did. I was trying to clean it up, but we let that one.
Dr. Pfau. Who's Dr. Pfau?
Well, he's a professor at the American College, and he's the one that created the designation of retirement professional, the RCP designation. And with his all his data, his Monte Carlo simulations, and all the formulas and everything you can think of, he's helped really pave the way in the financial planning industry, where he's been a big force of educating financial advisors that, hey, it's a fiduciary responsibility that now home equity should be considered as part of the retirement tool if used properly. So he's just a big fan, and he proves in his studies that if you put this in place, he can actually show that we can extend the portfolios out and make the money stretch out as long as possible and increase those probabilities. So
absolutely, and it's mathematically proven.
Right.
So I'm personally going through that designation right now, and which is kind of it's funny how God works. First we got connected. I'm starting to work on the designation, and there's a great book that you had sent to me, and it's opened my mind to a lot of different strategies. And is it going to be a fit for everyone? No. But at the end of the day, it's that we want to look at all the resources financially planning for someone and come up with the optimal solution, not suboptimal. Optimal.
Right. You got it. And that's why I'm blessed to have met you, because I love when financial advisors want to be open-minded to figure out, hey, there's got to be more out there to help out these clients trying to make their money stretch. So
right. At the end of the day, it's all about always doing the right
for the client, for the right thing for the clients.
All the time. And if you could be passionate, educated, and let's just face it, people can smell if you're full of the poo-poo. They can smell it. And so to be genuine, this is one of the reasons I'm thankful that I connected with Fairway Independent Mortgage and you and the team over there. You guys are really phenomenal and adding a lot of value to people. Now, I do have some more questions. Basically, one more question, and we're going to start to land the plane. But if someone, whether it's their grandparent, their parents, or someone who's currently over, coming up to that 62 age, or just considering a reverse mortgage, and they're looking through stuff, what are some one or two red flags that, number one, they should pay attention to? Or what is maybe one thing they should run from? And I know in my industry I can do a comparison, but I know for you, what would that be? What have you seen come across your desk that are not necessarily a good fit?
Well, I mean, I don't know about good fit. Well, I mean, the things that I want people to look out for is, if your parents are in your 60s, and Josh, I don't want you to take this the wrong way with Josh, the mortgage man, because I have a lot of friends in the forward mortgage area. As much as I like to see people do mortgages for people in general, and when people are in their 60s, it drives me crazy to sit there because they don't know about this option, that if they're in their 60s, they're trying to the clients are physically trying to find a way to refinance their existing mortgage for another 25, 30 more years of their life. Do you want your parents with a 30 more year mortgage payment at the age of 65 years old? I mean, that's going to take them to 95 years old. Who wants a mortgage payment in their retirement years? So to me, it's stopping them from doing something like that and saying, hey, look, You need to investigate it. There's more to it. There's been more changes. This is the most scrutinized loan in America today, but today it's probably the safest loan out there today because of all the features that are involved in the changes in the last 5 years. So that's the first thing that stands out is don't refinance and get another mortgage as far as trying to make a lesser. I've seen people refinance just to save $100, you know, from a $2,000 mortgage payment to $1,800. But they added 30 more years of a mortgage payment on their life and they're in their 60s. So to me, it's about, you know, we talk about forbearance in the industry because of the COVID market, you know, how they're giving that forbearance, right? So Josh talks about that, right? And he talks about how it's not a forgiveness. It's adding it to the balance. You don't have to make the payments for these next couple months and it doesn't hit your credit if it's a government service loan. Well, guess what? A reverse mortgage is a permanent forbearance. You don't have to make any kind of payments for the rest of your life as long as you live in the house. So you don't have to worry about any kind of forgiveness. All you got to do is just simply replace your existing mortgage with a reverse mortgage. And what happens is, how would you like to have a mortgage that you have options? In other words, if you want to make a payment, you can, but you don't have to. Would you like to have it where 1 month things were tight and you know you couldn't make the payment? You say, I'm going to skip this month.
Right.
I mean, I would like to do that right now if I could do it right now, but I can't because, you know, because we're obligated. When you have a husband and a wife that has a mortgage payment in those years and that person dies, those incomes go from 2 incomes to 1. And now that other person's on the hook, the company doesn't care if your spouse died. They don't care if you're sick. They know that they're going to get a payment for the remaining 20-something years of that mortgage payment. So this is a very important piece too. It's also preparing for each other in case something does happen where they're not on the hook for that mortgage payment, but they could stay in the house for the rest of their life.
Right. It's all about that cash flow, you know, and retirement. And, you know, one of the case studies I was going through with one of the professors at the American College recently is he had said a statement to me. I'm not sure if he got it from somewhere, but anyway, here it is. He's like, you know, you spent the last 20 or 30 years paying payments into your house. What if you could spend the next 20 years getting a payment from your house?
Right.
And it kind of clicked for me, the light bulb. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense because it's an asset, right? But it's equity. I can't take the front door off of my house and go to Publix grocery store and go, I want to buy my groceries with this.
Right.
You know? Cash flow.
Right, exactly. So in other words, what happens is when people put money into their house, it turns from cash, which is liquid, into an illiquid asset, which is going to be the house, and now turns into equity. The only way you have access to it is if you either sell the house or you refinance and pull the cash out, right? But then you have mortgage payments again. So what we're trying to do is show people that, hey, look, this is an asset, but it's an illiquid asset. But we're showing you that if you coordinate your strategies together with whatever else that we have planned with a financial advisor, we can show you how we can make your liquid bucket, which is your investments that you have set aside with a financial planner. We can show how we can make that money stretch as long as possible. So I think this is what I'm trying to do to separate, I guess, myself from pretty much the people in the industry, because I love to teach these different strategies and show clients that I can really help them along with the financial advisor make a difference in making their money stretch out longer.
Right. No, absolutely. Hey, we're just about out of time. If you believe it, the half hour flew by already.
You got to land the plane?
Yeah, I'm gonna start landing there. But hang tight. And when we wrap up the feed, don't go yet because I want to just recap a couple things.
Okay, sure.
Hey, so we're wrapping up filming episode number 12, and we're gonna announce a new show name coming up, and also it's going to be once a week moving forward. So if you guys have any entrepreneurs or business owners nationwide, this isn't just for Southwest Florida, but nationwide that could add value to the community, and comment below, share this, tag it, shoot me a direct message. We'd love to have them on the show, and I will vet them to let you know. I vetted George and Fairway Mortgage. They have phenomenal reviews out there. I checked them all, George.
That's good. That's good.
It's just you got to stand by that. And Ideal Retirement Solutions, we have nothing but 5-star reviews from our clients, on Google, on Facebook, and so it's all that word of mouth. It's the best way to grow the business. And just thank you for for dropping those educational nuggets. And please, if you guys have questions about a reverse mortgage, if you're about to enter one or you're thinking about it, please get with George or Fairway Mortgage. I'll tag their business on this after we wrap up here. Phenomenal. He's going to educate you, and you're going to know with clarity what's going on step by step. Also, I mentioned it earlier for those of you guys who just jumped on. I'm super excited. Tomorrow, I'll be doing a Facebook Live interview with national best-selling author and speaker David McKnight. He authored 3 books. I have them behind me here. The Power of Zero, Look Before You Lurk, which is life insurance retirement plan. And that's the ins and outs of that book. The Power of Zero book, it kind of gives you the framework on how to get to the 0% tax bracket in retirement. And that reverse mortgage it could be a great complementary strategy to that. So I know you guys are a big fan of David McKnight as well. And also his latest book is Volatility Shield. It's a great story-based book, and it's an easy read as well. But tomorrow live, we're going to be interviewing him about his brand new book launching in November. So make sure you guys are here, chiming in, sharing, liking, and it's a great opportunity to have David McKnight here. And so all that being said and done, thank you for joining us for yet again another episode of Operation Rebound. We will see you guys later. Enjoy. Hang tight.
Thanks, Jeff.